am I doing what I came here to do? Am I doing the best that I can do at what I came here to do? And I think we need to apply that broadly. Am I being a model to those I love? Am I, you know, the easy stuff right now, because we got Whole Foods and recycling programs and local food co-ops and farmers markets. I'm focusing on food a lot because I think about food a lot. But, you know, we have a lot of great choices for solving our problems by consumption. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of confusion out there about what organic food systems are working and what aren't, what are causing deforestation in Ecuador. Yeah. There are a lot of questions that still need to be answered, but, you know, gosh, that doesn't mean stop going to the farmer's market because you don't, or stop going to Whole Foods is a better example. Just because there might be something going wrong with one banana farming endeavor in Ecuador, right? You already got there. You already figured out that you can show up that much, and you actually found delight and health and feel like you made a difference.
Yeah, totally.
Keep going there, right? Don't, and then get up tomorrow and say, how am I being, right? Because what I'm consuming, or you know what I heard somebody say, we don't consume anything. We actually, I think Will McDonough might have said that too in Cradle to Cradle. We use it for a while and then we throw it quote unquote away. Yeah. Right? So this notion of consuming may be off a little bit too. But can we look at how we are being, right? Do we have true community? Where do we have true community? How many people are okay with co-housing? Really okay with it? Could you share child rearing, food preparation, spiritual discussions, political discussions with other families? Would it be okay? We have become individualistic in so many ways, especially in this culture. You know, that I will, by my bootstraps, be better. Other boats will come up too, but not before mine. I mean, yeah. Or at all costs, I will make sure mine rises. What are we doing to support our community around us? Yeah. That's sustainable. What's deeply sustainable is supporting the community around you and nurturing it, being part of it, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think so, and I think it's mostly the stuff I learn about human beings. You know, the way that I can show gratitude when people give all they've got to something, give credit for that. Like there's a lot of learning, you know, up in that. It's again in our society where the individual is like, the capitalist society that we live in, where I take a lot of the credit for what our people do, right? My company of 11 people, I take it. I'm like the monarch, right? My subjects have done well again. Now clap for me. And you know, I think it's the humility and the gratitude that I'm slowly learning, that I'm then coming back and realizing, oh, I need to apply this in my family life too. In my daily practice, I guess, as it were. That's a slow learning, and I think it's because, you know, I suppose the realm of green building, where I have asked people to pause and ask questions. I have compelled them to do that. That they then own that process. They go from there and they teach me things, and I love that, and that's when I'm humbled, right? Is when I was leading by learning, leading by being a co-learner in the process, a collaborator. That's when I get a lot of joy, and it's hard to remember that, I guess, sometimes. Yeah, totally. Easy to take the credit. I have to give credit to folks like McDonough and others who have just finally awakened me up. There's a gal who wrote a book that's just come out. I cannot remember her name, but the book is called Green Gone Wrong, right? Those two individuals have done a good job of bringing to light for me the notion that we cannot consume our way out of the bed that we've made for ourselves. Like we can't do it, right? Like I'm advocating for consuming. Like I said, I'd like to fix all of the energy hog failing buildings in the United States. I'd like to see them fixed. I'd like to see them tuned up, working better, be more comfortable and longer lasting. That's going to take some consuming. We got to throw some stuff away, we got to make some new stuff, and we got to put it in, right? What I'm finally getting is that one of the most common misperceptions is that is the answer, right? Mm-hmm. If we could all just build green buildings, the planet would be fine, or communities would be stronger, or everybody would have a job, whatever. We've got this idea that I think we as a culture have this idea that as long as we're consuming well, we recycle everything. When we build green buildings. As long as we're consuming well, it'll be net positive. And I think I think we're still missing something if that's where we are with it. And I think most of us are. This is my stump. There is a common misperception or misconception that we can only save 20, 30, 40% of the energy we're using in our buildings. And I want to be the proselytizer who convinces at least a small portion of people, who will then go out to convince a larger proportion of people that we already have the capability to do far better than that with our existing buildings. And I love to stick my neck out there and say, my house is only going to cost, and I got to prove it, right? I got to make a house that I said was only going to cost a couple $100 a year to heat, and it did, right? I think that, I'd love to see people sticking their necks out a little bit more and stop accepting the sort of conception or misconception that there's only so much. There is only so much, but it's much bigger than we think. The best thing I learned in my 12 years since college is that there's a lot of learning to do out in the working world, but you have to show up for it, right? You have to really want to do it. Like getting a job does not necessarily teach you anything. Mm-hmm. You got to be willing and ready to learn it. And I think if we can figure out ways to make learning in the field, as it were, more active, more engaged in by all parties. I would like to see employers transforming their paradigm around that. Like, there's a great design builder, my competition in Seattle. They do a monthly teach-in in their 50-person company that is not the top guys telling the lower guys, this is how you do things. It's whatever anybody's got to bring to the table, we will show up and learn it, right? And it's not always like just about building. There might be somebody in the group who knows how to make a really good egg salad sandwich, and it's like, I want to teach everybody here how I make my special egg salad sandwich, right? Like a spirit of learning that imbues an entire company of people. Mm-hmm. That's exciting to find, and I think we can each do a part in encouraging groups of people, communities called companies, to be that way. Yeah, I think you got to be willing to do it with other companies too, because there's this insular thing that happens even in what I was just describing. It's like, well, we'll share this amongst ourselves, especially the stuff that's kind of proprietary. Like this, one of our guys has figured out a really cool way to flash windows, and we'll teach each other that, but we won't share it, because then we won't have an edge, right? I mean, we got to get out of that. Mm-hmm. Because if all boats don't rise, your boat won't rise. Right? I don't know what the parallel really ought to be, but it's something like the better off we all are, the better off we all are. Yeah.